back to the channel, my friends and family, to every single one of you that lives and breathes Liverpool Football Club. This is Liverpool 12th Man Show, and we are going to be getting into a couple of topics today that maybe and hopefully bring about some bit of comfort for some. And also, obviously, a lot of the topics and a lot of the channels, especially whether they're the combination channels that you see more prevalently now with the, rivals and Reds out there, or even our own channels out there that are pretty dark, but all the same. Big up Cop Father, by the way, big up. But it's wild. It's pretty wild because there's not very many channels out there that you can find safe places anymore, it seems like, where you can just simply, you can talk about things honestly, and you can bring about subjects that aren't easy to talk about, but you don't feel like you're going to be judged, and you don't feel like it's going to be, it feels like a safe place. I don't know how to put it. And it's very difficult to find those places now, even more so. But I'm hoping that this is one of those places, and I'm glad to see that we have some OGs and some new heads, and also just people that are interested in helping build this community. So shout out to the Cop Father, shout out to Red Armchair Supporter, and shout out to some of the content creators out there that are putting together really good content. Fozzie, Quasi Bold, obviously Brian, which is at Anfield. Anfield Irishman, excuse me, Irish. I get that wrong, my fault. Anfield Irishman, and others. KJ's got his own channel now, and Delante's got his own channel. So there is hope amongst us out there. Certainly hope amongst us out there, and I'm sure. Obviously, shout out to my Coppish brothers as well. That shows that there are those channels out there that are trying to bring a little bit of sanity to all of us. But Uncle Rod's as well, my fault too. Let me make sure I say big up to my to unks out there. But let me get down to what we're going to deal today, because this isn't just another episode. This is a moment of reflection. I even added an extra segment at the end because I read a very interesting article that I wanted to bring into maybe the hindsight. No, I haven't heard any channel talking about it, so I figured I'd bring it up as a part of our segment or part of our discussion. So that's one of the topics left for us at the end of the show. But let me just bring this down to you. This is a moment of reflection, a moment of truth, because what we're witnessing now, right now at least, is not just a dip in form. It's something deeper. It's structural, it's emotional. I see one of my main brethren out there, Cal, talking about, if Slot continues on with this coach and or whatever, then we need to just burn everything down, or just start all over from start. And it's tough. It's really, really tough. Is a question of, is this the beginning of the end of an era? And the question we have to ask today is simple: Are Liverpool rebuilding, or are they unraveling? I do ask that sincerely. Are we rebuilding, and are we committed to this rebuild, or are we unraveling at the seams, and maybe dark days are ahead of us? It's a big question. Big question. And why I say that it's a big question of maybe an end of an era is because let's start here. One of my favorite players on this team has to be Ali. Alisson Becker is beyond one of the cornerstones of our team. He is a player that has brought us stability. He's brought us calmness in net. And unfortunately, as of late, he's become, I don't want to call him injury prone, but he has seemingly picked up knocks, more knocks than we would like. And because so, we are now without Kelleher now as our second goalkeeper. We've brought in Mamardashvili, who I still do have hope for, and I still do have faith that he can turn it around. I'm not going to go as far as some of the disrespectful names I've heard being thrown at our second string keeper. But Georgi Mamardashvili is not just stepping into a match, he's stepping into a moment. This is a moment that defines transitions. It's a moment that could define a new era for us. And what I mean by that is because when Liverpool go to Paris this week, they won't have Ali. And that changes everything for us. Ali was the main reason why we even remotely had a chance in Paris last year. I'd be willing to argue anyone about that right now. And if you think about it, shout out to Duffy, big up Duffy. Still need to get Duffy on the channel. He's got some great insights, and yeah, as long as you don't get him talking about Joe Gomez, everything's fine. But all the same, yes, we got to get Duffy on the channel soon. But what I wanted to say is, think about what Ali represents. Think about what Ali represented the last time Liverpool went to Parc des Princes. He faced 28 shots. He had 9 saves. That could be one of the greatest goalkeeper performances you will ever see, not only in Champions League history or Champions League era history, but in Liverpool history as well. That wasn't just goalkeeping, that was survival on its fullest because they were out. Elite level resistance. And that man drug us to that finish line for what ended up being a phenomenal smashing grab by Darwin Nunez and Harvey Elliott. Now, fast forward a little bit. Mamardashvili walks into the same environment. But this time, he's not the backup. He's the future of this team. This is his sliding door opportunity. And that's why I'm getting into this conversation with you. This bigger conversation, if you want to put it that way. Because this isn't just about a goalkeeper. This is about Salah's exit from the team and how that portion of his legacy can be remembered. This is about Robbo possibly joining him and leaving the team. And how Robbo can make an impact, whether as a starter or even as off the bench. This is about all the naysayers and all those, I'm going to call you out, straight up hacks that are saying that Virgil van Dijk is washed. He's not washed. Get over yourselves. I'm not saying he's at the elite level of 2019. Virgil van Dijk, now well into his 30s, is being utilized, whether domestically or internationally, to an extent that it is causing his level of output to come down somewhat. And the people around him aren't able to hold their end of the bargain, where they sometimes would rely on BVD's high level of output to cover themselves. I get often into the comparison. Oh, shout out. We got Nolante in the house. Big up. Big up, Nolante. How are you doing?
Yeah, big up 12. It's been a hot minute, man. Just working, etc. Yeah, the time schedules. That's what it is, man. It's so annoying, but yeah, big up everyone in the chat. Yeah, man. Yes.
I needed this actually because I know that Nolante and I do see eye to eye on quite a bit of topics, but sometimes we don't see eye to eye. And I don't think he's going to see eye to eye completely with this one. So it'll be good back and forth. It'll be a discussion. It's just that. It's just a discussion amongst fellow Reds. That's all it is. And I was going to say this. I want to ask you this question before I even get into the rest of what I had to say. I just brought up about VVD because I just saw the catch up. I think it's the show that KJ's on, and he did a great job. Shout out to KJ, by the way. I love the fact that KJ's on a lot of these bigger channels, representing and doing a great job of representing. Very, very press resistant, even though, it's all about cooking people nowadays. He's Teflon Don style. I like it. But
we need you one there, man. We need you one there. That's the thing, man. They don't want to let the real one in.
No, they don't want that. They don't want that.
Yeah,
but on the topic, they had a couple of guys saying that VVD's washed and he's done for, and he's been done since last year and blah, blah, blah. I was going to say this. I know that there's been times when, for instance, I'll give you the scenario. John Terry, towards the end of his career especially, was still regarded as world class. He was still regarded as top tier defender, correct? Am I wrong? I just want to go piece by piece, right?
Yeah, about the end. Yeah, near enough. Yeah, I guess so. You're talking about the end of his career.
Yes. Now,
yeah.
the difference.
Okay.
Go on. Oh no, I was just going to say the difference in that is John Terry had cover. John Terry had players around or support systems around him that allow for John Terry to be just that. John Terry in his 30s. And I could go as far as to say like the same about for instance, Thiago Silva, right? Who played for Chelsea once again, not the same team. You could argue even with that PSG or even at Chelsea, most people thought him leaving PSG, he was washed, he was done. But yet he went to Chelsea and was able to contribute at a decent level. But that was because he had talent and support around him that provided him the opportunity to be just that. I don't think that VVD has that currently in the system that slot ball creates. And I think that's very much a factor in why these football hacks out here are so willing to try to pounce on VVD's washed, he's done, he's this, he's that. His leadership is this, his leadership's bad about this and that. And they don't focus on the fact that A, he's been overplayed, whether internationally or domestically, and C, the support system that he has is not the same as those other scenarios I just gave for the Chelsea scenarios I gave. I know you have I think you have a different opinion at least. Let me hear yours at least. You can push back.
Yeah, no problem. Big up everyone in the chat. Hyla, Father, all of you, man. It's good to see and hear all of you in the chat. And yeah, like you said, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get the numbers up a little bit on 12th, man. The work he puts in, guys. But good to hear all of you in the chat. Look, in regards to PBD, look, my opinion won't change. And again, of course, if you spoke to another neutral fan, you say he's biased. For me, he's the greatest centre back in the Premier League era. I'm talking to the player, and yeah, the others are good, but private player, what is it that PBD can't do that the others can't? He can do everything, Unstoppable. And people say about eras and the strikers are better. Maybe so, but they're still good strikers. Again and again, they might be a little bit past the pit, but we still have to deal with a good enough Messi or Ronaldo. Especially Ronaldo. So look, I agree with some points. Like I've said it, he has been overloaded, and this has happened on the clock. We played him too many times last season again. We didn't need to play him in every game. He's not needed for every game. You had Konaté there. I know he's got injured. You had Joey. And this is why we have to use these players while they're fit at certain points. And he has been overloaded. And it's inevitable. And even in Holland, like, I don't understand why he's playing these friendlies. Yeah, he's the captain, but Do you really need to see him? No, but it was but just form wise, again, his age and a little bit like Salah, not as bad as Salah. He's just slipping. He's just doing things that he usually wouldn't do, you know. And obviously in City, he was awful. That was that was up with one of his worst games. He was trash. Can't lie. We got to rip off the band-aid. So I agree, but he hasn't helped himself in certain things now.
He hasn't.
He really hasn't. That's down to him. Yeah, he can. Yeah, he knows he can do better, and obviously as the front, but it's a bit again. It's a bit of everything. You have to put roll everything. It's a bit of that. He hasn't helped. He's been very poor. The manager hasn't helped, and managers at our club level and international haven't helped him in terms of resting him, etc. And the team hasn't helped as a whole. Everyone's been bad. So I mean, it's a very delicate situation. And then we go into next season where you have to rest him. You really do have to rest him. Whoever we get, I mean, we don't know. I mean, we know. I'm sure you're going to touch on Ibu. I mean, so whatever centre backs we have next season, he has to have a rest at some point because he is, and he's going to be 30, 35, and there's only so much he can do. And obviously, he's going to lose certain things, which he's kind of shown this season. So it's big things and interesting discussions for VVD, but it's just a shame that right now we can't take him out the firing line.
We can. I know that your point, and this is something that you've been. The reason why I thought you would come back with a differing opinion, I guess, is because I know that you have. It's something that we do share in opinions, and that is there should have been better rotation, man management, however you want to reference it, for VVD. You've been calling out for him to be rotated. You've been calling out a lot of players on this team to be rotated more frequently and more prevalently. But that's not the case. This coach continues to rely on pretty much sticking with a core team of players that he pretty much relies on, whether it's because of injuries or not. And I know that right now for instance, I heard Cal talking about, he's not, or no, I think it was Brian actually mentioned that VVD is someone that is not in this stage of his career, is someone that's not a must start every day center half. And I understand the point and what he's referencing. My own philosophy behind things is normally you want your captain to start. You want the captain of your team to be a player that starts every game. That's just normally how you would want it to be, because that person's going to not only represent, but you want the captain to be on starting squad and be able to be out there and to represent us. I understand someone could say, vice captain is this or vice captain that. Well, Robbo rarely gets starts, much less playing time now. So obviously you have to rely on having one of those presence on the pitch. That could be utilized as being semantics. I get that, or being, what it is. But the core of this team, the spine, I should say, of this team, the spine of the greatness that we all know and love, has been slowly but surely disappearing. It feels like it's almost like Back to the Future, when you see the picture of the players, like the pictures of Marty and his family, slowly but surely disappearing because they haven't gotten the time. Do you remember that movie, Back to the Future?
Yeah. Oh yeah, classic Marty. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's got the picture, and it's like you can see parts of his family disappearing. It feels like that's what's happening to this team somewhat, in that pieces of our family, pieces of the spine of this team, are slowly but surely being erased or minimized or taken away from us. And I don't know if it's because we're not prepared for it, or because it's difficult. It's never going to be an easy, transition at all. I know how it was for me when I saw Bobby leave the team, because he was and it possibly is one of my favorite players of all time for this club. I was trying to figure out other ways for him to stay involved and possibly continue on with the team. But it isn't that easy to find placement for some of these players, going forward. And this is what transition actually looks like. It's not clean, it's not smooth, it's not controlled. It can be very messy at times, it can be uncertain, it can be uncomfortable, I guess. But is Mamardashvili, in your mind, ready for this level of pressure? I think this is Mamardashvili's full circle. I think this is his opportunity to have his, sliding door opportunity. This is where he can make a real presence. He could create an opportunity for him to be, his coming out party in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this level of pressure is immense, but there is no bigger of a platform for him, at least, to utilize than Champions League. This is what he wanted. He wanted to be the guy. He wanted to have more playing time. He wanted to be involved in the team. You're about to have center stage against one of the best teams in Europe. This is his opportunity. What do you feel about that opportunity? Do you think he can make the most of it, or do you think that I'm just hyping him up?
And big up Hyla and Crabber against Joey. Joey all day puts him in his back pocket. Hyla, trust me, even if you're Joey masterclass or rewind back, and he had Saka and Co in his back pocket. But anyway, here's the look, Mama, he's bought for the future, and look, I'm sure you talked about it in your last stream. See the City game, we were terrible, but he was one of the few. I mean, it's weird, but he had a decent-ish game. None of the goals were his fault. He was kicking. He set up Salah with that pass. Salah could have done better. So I think he can. I think he can. But the problem is what's in front of him. That is the problem. The form of the players in front of him, and that's it. So yeah, I'm not worried about Mama, if I'm honest, against PSG. It's the others I'm more worried about. The 10 outfield players on the pitch. But not Mama. Yeah.
The reason why I bring up Mamardashvili, though, is because it was last year that basically, as I spoke on earlier, Ali saved us in that game. I spoke on he had 29 shots against him. He had 9 saves in that game against PSG. Without Ali, we don't even sniff at a heroic heroic victory in Paris. But this stat alone says a lot. I mean, basically, Liverpool have lost 15 games this season, and 10 of them have come when Alisson was not in goal. So basically, 66% of all of our defeats are when we don't have Ali in goal. It goes against what I know. I'm setting myself. I'm playing chess against myself, apparently, by hyping up Mamardashvili and then showing that stat. But it is a very, very telling stat. Because more importantly, is this rebuild being planned, or are we reacting as things fall apart? I don't really have an answer if we don't see some type of production or some type of response from this team. Copfather and Hylor and big up Edward and big up Red Armchair Supporter. I said, what up to Duffy? Sem Emery, hello to you. I know your comment was a little bit graphic, but still, hello. I think that's all that was saying hello in the chat. Copfather had this to say. He said Slot found a winning team, but he was so stubborn he had to go back to his way. Remember when Sabasli was on the right and Verts on the left? We had Grav and Jones and Maka feeding Ekatike. I do, Father, I do. I do know that the words by VVD saying that our team gave up, in essence, are damning. And I mean that for everyone on the team. And there was a journalist that asked a very, very no holds bar question to Arne about you can bring up all the statistics or excuses you want, Arne. I'm paraphrasing. But this team is getting the basics wrong. This team is doing things that teams at lower levels know not to get involved in. And that's where this conversation gets uncomfortable. Because what we saw against Manchester City was not just a bad performance. It was a collapse of fundamentals. We saw, I'll walk you through this as best I can. We saw throw-ins end up resulting in defensive structure sets. We saw Liverpool have numbers 6v4 and still concede goals. Why? Because we had no aggression, we had no communication, we had no accountability. The tactical fortitude of this team is fractured, if not completely broken.
Horrible.
And that's a mental failure. That is something that is not connecting. And it'd be one thing if you say, okay, that's a one-off game, or this is a game against one of the better teams in Europe, being Manchester City. And on their day, at their stadium especially, they can step up and be a vital presence. But when it happens again from another throw-in, another mistake, another goal, a stupid foul in the box, at that point, it's not coincidence. It's identity. And I'll give you quotes to kind of back up what I say. I see that I think Milante might be back with us. Szoboszlai said it. Curtis Jones said it months ago. I think Milante, I know myself, I know JK has been calling it out. This team has to want to fight. And I mean, it's one thing to verbalize it and say, oh, we've got to fight more. We've got to be stronger on the pitch and blah, blah, blah. It's another thing to show it on the pitch. How many times did you see, and I'm not saying we got to get dirty and become, on the levels of a Bernardo Silva or a Rodri or something like that. But what I am saying is, how many times have we seen an Endo or a Milner, or even a Steven Gerrard, if you want to go that far back, a Hendo, basically set a precedent. Be able to tell a team that you're not going to just come in and do what you want on the pitch. You're not going to come over and bully us. We most likely are going to go up against teams where we are, quote unquote, on paper, tactically better, technically better than those other teams, but they know they can get under our skin. They can get away with certain things, especially with the way the Prem calls games as opposed to the Champions League. And they can get away with those little nicks and those little fouls that kind of get under your skin. And we don't have that fight. We don't have that dog in us. For all the people that talked about Elliott, or all the people that talked about Nunez, or all the people that talked about these players that would be the first to get into another player's face to be like, that's not popping off here. We don't have that essence. And Liverpool right now are a team that want to play pretty. We want to have control. We want to dictate the game to play. Fantastic. That only works if you have not only the structure to do it, but the confidence to do it. I don't even believe that we're confident enough to do these things. We refuse to do that dirty work, required to earn it. And I don't think we are confident enough to do this. I don't know, Nalante, you're back with us or no? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in and out. So I'm listening. So yeah.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
Um, do you differ in that opinion, or do you think that that's kind of spot on, or not, however you want to reference it, or do you believe that Liverpool have the fight or that dog in them, if you want to call it that?
Um, Again, it's the $1 million one question, isn't it? I mean, they haven't showed. I mean, for a captain to say we gave up is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
In 2026, we are saying that the players are saying they're all. So basically, the players are down tools.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, they're down tools, and it's kind of embarrassing for a club of our stature that these players are down in tools in a pivotal game. Oh, we gave up, and yeah, Slot has not been great with his tactics decisions. Yeah, but regardless of the manager, you don't down tools. You play for the badge. You play for the shirt. If you disagree with manager, it happens. You just play. You play. So of course, no fan is giving them hope. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this, and I know a lot. Everyone will disagree with me, and like I said, you can. I don't blame any of you, but I won't be surprised me if these disgraceful players get a result at PSG. It just won't surprise me.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be surprised, but that easily makes it more worse if it does, because it shows what these players are really taking the mick, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they definitely owe us, but regardless of the situation, I mean, end of the day, I think we all of us, you know, armchair, everyone whether we, you know, you said slot out at the start or whatever or middle. We all know that the club needs to change, and I just want these players to be exposed. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. Because some of them are not all that they think they're out to be, and they've been. I mean, as bad as Slot and his tactics they've been a disgrace. So we'll see. I mean, right now it's looking like PSG is gonna, you know, just put the final nail in the coffin. But we'll see. We shall see.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You there? Okay. Maybe it might be my. Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm still there. Yeah, still there.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you. I think our phone or something go off or something like that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm just trying to sign it. Yeah. Still here. Still here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that the gist of what I'm trying to get across is I think is on the line with what you're trying to say too, and is that we cannot skip the basics of football, basically, which is what the journalist was trying to bring out. Look,
Yeah.
there were times when there was a clip I saw where Curtis Jones had the ball on the left side of the pitch. He was trying to figure out an exit plan to either dribble, maybe even pass the ball forward, try to get a progressive pass. But you looked along the line, and there's just three Liverpool players flat-footed, just standing,
Mm.
not running into space, not trying to create, channels to give him outs to get the ball through. Maybe do one twos or whatever. It was more of, okay, yeah, you got the ball down, you figure it out. And that's where I think is the problem. The running, the competing, the winning duels, the foundational, the foundational supplements of what we need. Liverpool right now are trying to build a house without the proper materials, you know. And that is, as much as people, I know there's been people that have been getting on us about, oh, it's not Arne Slot, it's going to take more than Arne Slot. It's going to take, I know, the players have their accountability to bring up because they're the ones that are on the pitch that have to do the fundamental basics. But what I am saying is that if you don't create a system that figures out ways to capitalize on the positives or the positive attributes of those players, then what are you doing? You're trying to force, was it the square pegs into round holes or something, whatever it's called, like that is the case of what you find yourself doing. If Virgil isn't going to be able to do A, B, and C, but he's good at D, E, and F, then focus his play to maximize D, E, and F, and find out how to supplement that with another player or another or form of team play that covers A, B, and C. Because if this is happening consistently, at what point do we stop blaming individuals and start questioning the philosophy? That's my point. At what time do we start saying, hey, these players had a whole entire team, other than maybe Dominic Szoboszlai, and let's be honest, he had a stinker yesterday as well. Dominic Szoboszlai did not play well against Manchester City. I don't care what people say. He did not have a good game, in my opinion. I don't think any one of our players had a good game. And when do we start to say that a coach who had 2 weeks to prepare and plan for a 90-minute game could only come up with 30 minutes worth of a working strategy? That alone says something that is not just on the players. It is certainly somewhat on figuring out how you can go out, be able to, play rope-a-dope for 30, 40 minutes, and then recognize when it is that you can go for the haymakers. For all those boxing fans out there.
To the boxing fans.
Because this PSG, I've been saying it. I don't think that the FSG has been saying, okay, well, you know what? If you lose against City and you lose against PSG, it's a wrap. I don't think it's that simple. But I do think what is involved is if teams start coming out, if your players like Virgil van Dijk, your captain, your skipper of the team start coming out and say, we quit. When players start coming out and saying those kinds of statements, that's a coach losing a locker room. Because I think that most of us would have said, in the past at least, that players, if not us as fans, obviously, but those players in that locker room, we felt would have ran through a wall for their gaffer. And I don't think that exists. I don't think that mentality exists right now if you're talking about a team that gave up.
Facts. Yeah. And big up Red Armchair. Yeah, very good fight. Wilder Chisora, a slugfest. And, Wilder did enough to win. But, yeah. But, yeah, it's pretty damning what's gone on in the year. And, of course, I mean, Jota hasn't helped in the mental aspect, sadly,
No.
For this team. Obviously, he's not an excuse because we should be in a position where we're, fundamentally in a better space. We know players know where they are system-wise and stuff like that. But funny enough, Slot has done the reverse this season in terms of rotating a little bit more. But then again, but then he uses the wrong set of players. At this rate, I'm not gonna lie. I know it wouldn't be abuse. I'll play Rio. I'll play Trey. Just give me Chiesa. Just give me players that will fight at this precise moment because the other players are you don't know who they are. Alexis is Kevin McAllister. Gravenberch is Salif Diao, and so Bozalai is I have no who there is. He's Jay Spearing. No disrespect.
Right. I get you. Well, if we can get a Jay Spearing type response like we saw in the Legends game, I'm all for it. that was actually probably the goal of his career, was scoring that one in the Legends game. But yeah, it is something to measure. Let me take this stat off. I mean, it's kind of, it's probably sad to see. I'll take the stat down. I'll ask you this. I remember I brought up this next point. I brought up this next point against I'm trying to think of when it was, but I brought it up on Coppish. I can't remember the date I brought it up, but it was way back, because it was like, it might have been towards the start of the season. Tyler Morton came out with a comment that was somewhat damning to the player development that we've seen with Slot. And when I originally brought it out and I remember, because I think it was Drifty, and it was I think it was Drifty and Cal at the time, but I remember Drifty was the one who addressed it. And he said something on the lines of, "Oh, well, Tyler Morton might be this might be salty. He might be just," and this is probably, for better for worse, when Drifty was fully pro slot in style mentality. But he was on some, "Oh, well, this might be, Tyler Morton's opportunity to be salty towards a coach that just didn't play him," and blah blah blah. Tyler Morton's going on to make a decent run at a career outside of Liverpool. And what Tyler Morton has done since leaving Liverpool is say some things I said at that time was connected, was more of a look behind the green curtain, or the red curtain, if you want to call it that, at what we don't get to see as fans. Because it might have slipped under the radar, but when it comes to Tyler Morton, he leaves Liverpool, he goes to Lyon, and suddenly he's thriving. He's playing regularly. He's dictating games. He's growing as a player. And what does that tell you? And I'll tell you what it tells me. Are Liverpool developing players, or are we stockpiling them? Because Morton said it himself. He needs to play, not sit. Very similar to what Nalante just said about trying to play Trey Neone, about trying to play possibly Rio, maybe even Chiesa. But Tyler Morton needed to play. Not sit, not wait, not hope that Slot will give him a minute or two in this game, or do what he does to Chiesa and give him 5 minutes of garbage time at the end of some game. I think these comments that Tyler Morton said early in the year, I think that the interview he just gave recently, continue to echo something I've been stressing, and that is one of our unique aspects, or characteristics, or attributes for this team, for this club, was when, and I'll admit, it was forced upon him to rely on these players more than he wanted to possibly. But when he saw the light, he started to do so more often. And that is when forced for the opportunity, he started playing younger players, whether it's Stefan Pshetic, whether it was Tyler Morton, whether it was Bobby Clark, whether it was Kwanzaa, whether it was Bradley.
Dance. Yeah.
This is what this coach, our former coach, started to do. And it resulted in players like Rio deciding that the opportunity was more prevalent for him to have a future by going to Liverpool than sticking with Chelsea. He had the choice to stay with Chelsea, London team, big players, big names, big salaries. And he chose Liverpool because there was a better direct route towards playing time. And it's opportunity versus trust. Liverpool are not bridging the gap by allowing for this coach to destroy that bridge.
Yeah.
I'll say it simply. I'm not saying that Tyler Morton would have been the difference between us being title contenders or not. I'm not trying to go that far.
No.
Did Liverpool make a mistake by letting Morton go, for instance? Or was this right? Because, I mean, we're talking about a player that could have, given some type of rotational relief for a Gravenberch, for the pivot maybe with for McAllister to have a seat and be able to properly re-engage in his fitness. We don't play Endo. We finally do. He gets injured. I just think that how many players are we going to allow to go on and succeed elsewhere before we question the fact that the pathway towards playing on this team should be recognized? We appreciated it when it got us a League Cup. We relished in it. We were tapping the badge, talking about how this is what we do. I think we can count on our hands how many times we've seen Trey Neone start or play this year. And Trey Neone is a very, very talented player. I think has a good future. We have people in our fan base that have been screaming for Rio to just get a. It's not saying Rio is going to be the next Yamal or the next Messi, or hey, he's going to be the revelation that brings us to Mbappe reborn or something. But what we were saying is, what made us special last year in the kind of creativity that Lucho brought to our team, and then having the consistent, maybe if you want to call it vanilla, okay, of Cody could bring to our team, gave us proper balance. But yet now all we do is get vanilla ice cream. There's no sherbet involved. I know, I don't know. I'm just throwing out, I'm not that big of an ice cream fan, but I'm more of a Ben & Jerry's guy. But you get my point though, right? Let me see what the guys are saying. Big up Lone Sheep, big in the house, big up. Let me get in some of these comments and then also hear what Nalante has to say to this point. Let's see, anything that we're talking about, as long as it's like relative to what we're talking about, I'll bring up your comments, of course. Red Armchair supporter saying weaker league. Morton was never getting in ahead of the World Cup winner McAllister in last year's form. Agreed with that, Red Armchair supporter. But I am saying, I'm only emphasizing that he doesn't have to start in the sense of he doesn't have to be a regular starter. He doesn't have to be the replacement for McAllister at the role.
Just rotation.
Just rotation.
He can start some games and he can play some games, and that's the thing. And that's the thing that Slot messed up.
That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, that's it. Because he needs a rest. He's playing poor. This is the problem we've done this season. These players, Grav, Mac, it's not been 1 game, 2 games. It's been a number of row of games. They've been poor. So you just rest him and play the next man in. Endo, I mean, everyone, other people, Endo's, blah, blah, blah. But, geez, Endo, at least, I'm not, again, like you said, he won't be a bit, but Endo gives us something different. He's a sitter. He's our only out-and-out DM. But the manager always gets so greedy and this and that. And this is why we are where we are. He doesn't utilize the players properly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Morton. He says Morton needed to go and play every week. He's never going to stay for odd minutes. I think that if you're at a club the level of Liverpool, even though odd minutes do sound harsh, if you feel as though you're making contributions, yes, that big move might come later on down the line. You might move on to France or Germany or maybe another team in the league. But the sheer experience you'll get in that role, the hunger that'll build within you to become the starter, of course, is fantastic. But the sheer experience you'll get in that role for the level of club that we are, I think, is immeasurable, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let me take you back to 23-24 season when we bought who we did in midfield. Endo was the guy that obviously, as we discussed at the time, I was like, why are we buying him? And obviously you and JK, I'll give you all the credit to him, not JK, he's not here to defend himself. And he won't get. He won't, but he's a decent player, watch him play. And obviously I was like, nah. And look, and one thing I've criticised him on certain things, but he does give players the chance. And look, Endo came in the team, he's playing well, and he wasn't dropped. It was like Endo, McAllister, and Jones. But and this is it. Players are just getting away with murder. It's a squad game. So if this player is not playing well, the other player comes in, the tray, whatever. I don't care. But Lord doesn't do that. He just loves to go to favourites. He might play a Jones here or or swap footwork and everything. And that's the thing, and that's the problem. It's one of the big problems.
I think that like his system. Oh, not to. I'm not trying to knock off your pace. Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. I think one of the major misconnections when we get into these conversations about the DM is the fact that this coach has had plenty of opportunities to go out and say if he wanted that quote unquote destroyer, either he would have given more minutes to Endo, that is a serviceable destroyer. I'm not saying he's the best in the world. I'm not saying he's Rodri reborn or something or Fabinho reborn. But what I am is he's a serviceable DM for a destroyer. Yet he decided against it. And if he wanted the destroyer so badly, and if we needed the destroyer so badly in his mind, we would have went for Ederson, right? I think that's the guy from Atalanta, right? Or we would have went for a player that right now that Ederson at Atalanta is looking at possibly leaving on either a free next season. So, we would have, if we wanted the deal to happen and we needed the player, if we needed that Fabinho style player so badly in his system, I'm not saying we don't need I'm not saying we can't utilize a player like that. I'm not saying that if Fabinho were to come back in this team, I would put him into this team like that at the level that we remember Fabinho at least. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. This coach does not believe that is the type of pivot system he wants. That's why you see McAllister and Gravenberch in a pivot together. That's why you'll see a Dominic Szoboszlai and Grav in a pivot system together, or Curtis Jones and a Gravenberch in a pivot system together. If we wanted someone with a more defensive-minded stance, we would see that. And now, and this is another thing I want to put out there too, because there's some other sections that I have other segments to roll on to, and I want to make sure I don't get too bogged down with this. But when it comes to Gravenberch, I know he's gotten a lot of flack and he hasn't played to the level that we want to see him play towards and everything else. Can I just ask the chat and even Alante as well, if they can answer me, can actually verbally answer me this? Do we not all recognize that Gravenberch is playing a different role of a DM this season than he did last season? Can we all recognize the fact that Gravenberch played a more quote-unquote traditional set style of DM last year with occasional runs and the likes that he was capable of performing? But can we all recognize the fact that this season, Gravenberch plays a far more up the pitch, offensive minded than he did via last year versus last year? And we all wonder why all of a sudden the type of production, the type of player profile that we had for Gravenberch has been slightly diminished from his previous level of production last season. I'm asking the chat. I know some people are very much strong in their opinions about whether we need a DM, what type of DM we need, whether Gravenberch's a DM, whether he can whether we can get the production out of Gravenberch that we need. Can we all recognize those two things exist, and they can be factors and reasons, not excuses? Those aren't excuses. Those are just actual reasons why the level of contribution we see from him this season is different than the contribution we saw from him last season. And again, I'm not saying excuses. I'm just saying they're reasons. Because he still has to get better production. If you're going to take on that mantle of being a more offensive hybrid version of this DM for us, then you got to make it work. You've got to make it work. You've got to create more possession. You got to create more offensive opportunities. You got to create more shots on goal. All these different things have to be created on a more consistent level if you're going to transition into that type of hybrid DM. Otherwise, I ask from a sincere portion of my heart, bring back the Gravenberch that we had last season and the role he played. Now, I'm not sure if it's Gravenberch asking to do this role or if it's the coaching staff wanting him to do this role, but I'm saying that is the difference in my opinion. And I don't think any time that we've had any conversation, especially on the majority of channels that I've been a part of, or even rather chat or even on their panels, I don't think anyone wants to recognize that fact. You can disagree with me, Nolante. I'm not, this is how our channel works.
Yeah. I don't think he's a up and down DM. He's just like he said. Remember the Everton game? We won 2-1. It's one of our better games, which is so long ago. That's when we won the 5 out of 5, and then he all went start. He said the managers told me to push more forward this season, go to more to the penalty box. So it just is what it is. Him, and then sometimes you see Mac down as the 6, which is like no. But the manager has altered his decision, and it's been a bad one because, well, in terms of like Haile was saying the stats, yeah, he's been all front forward, but his form's been poor, and that's on Gravenberch as the player and a bit of the manager, because what Slot did last season was work as a look right. You're a quality player. I know the gifts you have, but right now, maybe if he would have got Subi, would have been different. Who knows? But he said, you know what? You got the intelligence, because Dutch players, they're trained in all positions. all positions. He did the intelligence to players on number 6, and he did it to a T. One player of the year, the Premier League player of the year, was great. How manipulating the ball, turning, went to run, even getting his tackles. And that, it's not Ryan Gravenberch. It's Dave. It's Dave Gravy. We're seeing Dave Gravy on the pitch, not Ryan Gravenberch. Dave Gravy. That's what we've seen on the pitch. It's a horrible Dave Gravy Bristol. That's what we're seeing on the pitch, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, that Bristol is horrible. It is horrible, and that is what it is. Tackles, no intensity, losing the ball, just sloppy, just all round sloppy. And again, like all these things, it's a player thing and it's a coach thing as well. I mean, we don't want Dave Gravy Bristol, do we, ladies and gentlemen? We want Ryan Gravy Gravenberch, but that man, he's gone. It's the man formerly known as Ryan. It's Dave Gravy Bristol. And he's going to be calling Dave Gravy Bristol until he fixes up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let's stick with that, ladies and gentlemen. Until he remembers who he are, is the artist formerly known as Gravenberch. Just like we've got... Exactly. So look up. Just hear me out, guys. Our midfield 2 is Dave Gravy Bristol and Kevin McAllister. That is our midfield 2. Yeah. No wonder we're in the mud.
There you have it.
Yeah, and we haven't got Florian Wirtz. We've got Flowers, supported by Flowers, ladies and gentlemen, Flowers. This is what we have. No wonder we're struggling, team. Now, I think, go on.
Land your point. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So at this rate, 12, I think right we now to do meaning, if we go in the back, we create a poster and say, has anyone seen Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister, and Florian Wirtz? Please give a call to the Liverpool 12th Man Show on 0800.
There you go.
Indeed, Red. Yes, indeed. Yes. We've got Flowers. This is what we're dealing with right now. And yeah, these players, they need to look in the mirror and recognize, do you remember the, what was it? The Marvel comics, I think, was it Spider-Man or was it Superman? When they get consumed by the darkness, dark power, they lose all sense of reality. That's where we're at. And unfortunately, Arne Slot's not going to be the man to wake them up, unfortunately.
You know what? I saw it was a question posed on the ESPN FC. And I wanted to ask the question to, like Space Jam, exactly.
Yeah.
Where the players, they get their talents. Taken away.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this question to the chat and to Nalante as well. This weekend we played a player that we could have gone in for, but we were linked at one point, I believe, to the player, but we ended up going a different direction because our choice for 10 was obviously Florian Wirtz instead of Ryan Cherki. There was a question posed in ESPN FC that said, would Liverpool be in a better situation if we had gone for Cherki instead of Wirtz?
Whoa, you hit some grenades. Jeez.
I know, exactly.
Jeez. Wow. Oh, look, the chat have said it. Oh, nah, they ain't happy with you, man. Listen, hey. Listen, this is not an Latte thing. It's a 12th man. It's a Liverpool 12th man. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I'm not involved. You guys speak to him yourselves. I'll keep quiet. Please.
I got you. Hey, I'm just repeating what ESPN FC said. That was a thumbnail that they brought up. I saw it and I was like, wow. They're getting cheeky with it. I'm not. I personally prefer Flo over Cherki. To tell you the truth, I wish we'd gotten both the players, to be honest with you. Especially since Cherki is willing to accept a squad role on City. I mean, City have a team where when Foden got Player of the Year, last year was it? It was last year, right? Did he get Player of the Year or something like that?
No. It's the year before, so 23,
Year
24
before,
when he won the league. Yeah.
and now he's getting like 10, 15 minutes of garbage time in a game you're up 4-0 in. Like, City are on some different standards with how they rotate and what they utilize, and players being willing to, if anything, sacrifice their playing time, considering that you know, you would think that you're getting Player of the Year 2 years ago. You would think that you'd be a starter. You'd be a nailed on starter at not 32 years old or 34 years old, still in your 20s. It's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. I got you. No foul language. Like I said, I am just repeating what is don't shoot the messenger. I was just repeating something that was said on another channel that I don't agree with. Okay, I just thought it was funny that someone would even make that suggestion. And trust me, that was what they ran with. But I think Turkey's a good player. I just think he's a little bit of a cheeky player. All right. Well, let me get on to some happy news for us, and that is it's important because this is what I wanted to make sure that we all recognize. Last season when we went to Paris, we all know that Liverpool have a horrible relationship with France. Let's be honest. And for this Champions League match, 5% of the stadium will be allocated to Liverpool fans. A total of 2,376 supporters will be able to get tickets for this game. And you might be saying, I get it. Okay, so what? What is close to 2,400 people, or, But no, it matters. And why I'm saying it matters is because last year, that number was restricted. Now it's expanded to this level where we can at least have a recognizable presence. It means UEFA standards are being enforced, away presence is growing, and pressure increases on both teams. And I'm saying, please, let me just make sure you understand why I'm bringing this up, is that if Liverpool show up like we did against City, I get that away and won't be singing. But I know that our away fans are possibly one of the best away fans in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any bit of reminding Liverpool to stand the F up, it will be our fans in Paris to remind them, oh, you told us you quit that last time. You ain't going to quit this time on us. 2,000 plus Reds in Paris, they'll remind them to stand up. All right, so that was my little bit of happy news. I guess my other bit of happy news is that there has been contract talks. This might be the most important situation, I would say, for the club right now, and that is signing Ibu, plain and simple. You talk about the issue with VVD at center half. Imagine a team with a aging VVD and a question mark when it comes to who's his partner. Everything feels incredibly unstable when you really put that into mind. This is a chance to create stability And here's what we do know. Apparently, talks are ongoing. There's no breakdown in communication, and there is a strong belief, strong belief,
super strong.
Abu strong,
Yeah.
that he could stay. I think Liverpool need this more than anything. This bit of news would be fantastic. Because if you lose Salah, you lose a potential Robbo, and then you lose Konaté, come on. Those are three components of a title-winning team that just have been, once again, flushed away. I think you're not rebuilding when you do that. You're restarting when you do something like that. I think those are two very different approaches to maintaining some type of level with this club. I'm going to say this now. Konaté has not been perfect this season, along with VVD. Both of our center halves have not been to a level we normally expect them to be. But here's the truth. In a stable system, I would argue that Konaté is elite level center half.
That's a strong
I know, strong words. I know, Monte.
I mean, I'm definitely not going to say elite to Konaté. He's a good defender, but elite is, yeah. I mean, that's way OTT.
There were segments of there were stretches last season where you could argue that Konaté was on a better level than VVD, who was at an extremely high level himself.
A little, yeah. I guess so. A little bit,
I'm
but
not saying he's got to work on the consistency. I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah.
That I agree.
Yeah,
I think
I get that. Yeah,
strong argument is.
yeah.
But tell me, what center halves out there? Name 5 center halves out there that you think are better suited to, at this point, partner with VVD. You can tell me in the chat too. Can you name 5 center halves that are better suited to partner with VVD in your mind than Ibu? And I'm not talking about former greats. They'll say you can't say Matip, or you can't say, Gomez at his prime. We get that. But I'm just saying, realistically, right now, in the current form and fitness of their career, who would you sooner see as a partner for VVD?
Bastoni, Lukeba, Ordonez. I'm sorry, I know you're not gonna like this. I'm gonna say if fully fit, and again, I'm talking about currently, so I'm not talking about prime, but if fully fit, I'll still take Joey over Ibu. That might sound a little bit biased, but I don't know, fully fit. So that's 3. Was it 4? No, Bastoni, Lukeba, Ordonez, Joey. Who'd be the 5th one? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Slotterbeck. I'm not sure about him, man. To be honest, I'm really not sure about him. I'm not too sold on him. Oh, that Lacroix from Crystal Palace.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he's quality.
What is his quality that exceeds Ibu's?
Well, Ibu's more.
What are some of the features? Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
I just think he reads the game a little bit better. Again, because he's at Crystal Palace, so it's different, isn't it? Better. I think he's just a better reader of the game. Ibu is more pacier. He's good at the interceptions a bit more. Ibu is more experienced in the level, but I just think he's a better reader of the game. I think Ibu. I think his headering is very good, on a par with Ibu. Ibu is better in the different attributes. I think it's hard, but I think if Ibu were to go and you put in Lacroix, I don't think that'll be like a big drop off. I don't think so. personally.
Okay. Still the same. If you were telling me that there's barely 5 players, I mean, I don't agree with I personally don't agree with all of the
Yeah,
selections.
that's fine. Yeah.
If you're saying that if you have a player that is arguably uh, top 10, let's call him top 10 because you just said 5 players, so he's at least the other half of the top 10. Isn't that a player that is a formidable player that has experience with experience and some connection with Virgil enough that you'd be comfortable seeing him continue on with them? Or do
Yeah,
you
I mean
think?
it's fine. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna have a break. No, look. Don't, like I said, I'm not saying Konaté is crap. He's a very good player, very very good player. But it's just too hit and miss with him. That's the thing. So if he signs, great, no problem. But you need to be consistent, buddy. Get back to where
Hmm.
you were last season in the first half, where you were excellent. I can't even, like I said, he was good, and then he got the injury. Then when he back, of course, he had games. He was just wasn't the same. He was just, yeah. He was just, it's just, yeah. So, and obviously, this season it's been very hit and miss. Obviously, sadly, his dad, But
Mhm.
again, we can say that with every player. His dad. So he's been very poor. He came back a little bit. He's been poor again. So yeah, I mean, if he does sign, good. But next fresh start and be the Eagle that you can be.
Okay. I did tell you guys that I had a player, or at least I saw this mentioned. There's a story. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'll allow for you guys to get your Schlotterbeck comments in there. I know there are a lot of players or a lot of people out there that do rate Schlotterbeck as a talent. Um, Still up in the air if he's going to re-sign with Dortmund. But what I was going to bring up is I saw this article, or at least this tweet, and it got me thinking. It's a player I don't watch too much of. I don't watch too much of the Saudi Arabian league. However, whenever I hear Brazilian players, I always get kind of excited with the opportunity of bringing them to Liverpool. So I said I had a special segment. I'm going to bring up the special segment for you guys to evaluate on your own. You can tell me what you guys feel and think about it. But let me bring up this player. So this is one of his first teams, by the way. There is this certain individual that has been mentioned. Now, why I'm bringing up Marcos Leonardo is simply this. I understand that, or I'll say, let's talk about something that could quietly become one of the most important decisions I think Liverpool can make this summer. A name that isn't flashy, a name that isn't headline dominating. I'm not saying that all of a sudden, hey, this guy is Ronaldinho reborn, but a name that could define the next phase of our attack. And the question is simple: is this kid a diamond in the rough, or are Liverpool about to gamble on the wrong profile? Because it has been mentioned that if they decide Mohamed Salah decides to go to Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal is working out a deal that would involve a swap deal for Mohamed Salah.
Oh, I heard about this.
Now, let's strip away the hype and get to the truth for this player. Marcos Leonardo is not your typical traditional number 9. He's not some Holland type destroyer. He's not a Nunez chaos runner, and he's certainly not a Bobby false 9. But he is something else. He's a pure box predator. Every scouting report that I've read, and I've read a few because um, it got me thinking of what it is about this player that could be utilized. And that is, he's an elite penalty box. He has elite penalty box instincts. He's a poacher in a sense. He's I think what's huge is that he is 2-footed on his finishing. He is constant, I guess you could call it micro movements inside the box. He's able to have elite or close to elite. I don't want to overutilize that word, but he is good at rebound anticipation, second ball dominance, something that we saw from rest in peace, from Jota. He's a striker who lives and eats inside that chaos area in the box. Now, let's connect this to Liverpool, because this isn't a random type selection. This is a profile-based recruitment, I think. And under Arne Slot, Liverpool are trying to evolve into this more controlled possession, more structured build-up, more positional discipline. And at the moment, especially without Isak involved, and you can say what you want about Ekitike, we don't have a bona fide clinical finisher. Salah, for what it's worth, is obviously moving on. And obviously we don't have the ability to play our we don't have the ability to play Isak right now. So what do you need? A striker who doesn't need 5 chances to score 1, and that's this guy. That's where Marcos Leonardo fits. He's the type of player who scores ugly goals. He's the type of player that lives off half chances. He's the type of player that punishes defenses for lapses that they have. Now, I'm not going to get carried away of saying he's, again, some flashy name or some big profile player, because there are some concerns. Premier League defenders are not forgiving, and at 5'7", he will be tested. But Liverpool needs someone with intensity. We require pressing, traditional transition work. We need defensive effort. Those are not his strongest attributes. But scoring in the box is. So if Liverpool rely on wide play and crosses, maybe he's not your guy. But if we're going to pepper the goal with shots from outside the box, from like your Doms and your grabs and and your Cody Gakpos, he could be that guy. I think there is a name, and trust me, I don't necessarily like this player because he plays for El Tree, or did at least back in the day. He is a historic player for them. But when I saw the type of highlights and the things that he was doing on the pitch, the name of player, or the kind of player that I thought of him as being, was Chicharito.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Brazilian version of Chicharito, poacher instincts with modern mobility. Not a creator, not a target man, but a finisher. So here's where this gets serious, because this move obviously is going to take a lot to have happen. We already know that that Salah wants out. Swap deals are not easy to make. However, if you do have something where you have a scenario like this, maybe something like this could work, so that we at least get something out of the deal. If you're not going to give us money, at least we can get something out of the deal. Because Liverpool right now are confused We want control, but we need to build some type of chaos because we are stale. We are very stagnant. And Marcos Leonardo could possibly bring that if he thrives in chaos. So I'm going to ask you, if Marcos Leonardo I'll ask it like this: is Marcos Leonardo an option for us that you would consider? And is he someone, not even beyond someone you can consider, but is it at least a palatable concession to not allowing for us to allow for Salah to go and not get anything in return? I'll ask that. That's for you, obviously, Lante.
Yeah, cool. Just in the chat, big up Dara. Hope you're well, Dara. Hope you're blessed, Dara. It's been a while, but we'll speak offline, Dara. But big up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big up Roger, little P. But this is an easy answer. No.
Okay.
I don't think it makes sense. I just don't think it makes sense.
Okay.
He's not what we need. His profile, we don't need him. We don't need him. Salah, it'd just be silly. Even more ridiculous that the club and Salah came out with that whole announcement right at the time when we're struggling. I know it's an international break. I didn't like that either. So, but no. And again, it's just naive from the club to let him go for free with a year left. It's just that, and letting Salah try and stamp it. But of course, it's going to be made look good. But yeah, it's just bad PR from both all round, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we don't need him. I don't want to stop. But even as bad as Salah is, no, not for him.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Hyler's saying with Ekitike and Isak in his team, we hardly need another striker. I disagree with that. I think we do need another striker, in my personal opinion, just for rotation alone. I know that, but then again, I'm going from the pretense that we utilize a 4-2-2 or a 4-4-2 type system, like we are occasionally doing. One that we've seen some type. I think there has been a concerted call as well as a interest by not only just our coach, but even Ekitike has come out and said that he would like to play alongside Isak. So if that's the case and you're able to get two of these strikers up top and be able to utilize them, you will need some type of striker on the bench that would be able to create chaos, create the ability to get rotation, or even the ability to start in the odd opportunities of injuries and the likes. Jayden Danns is a fantastic prospect. I just think that it's unfortunate for Jayden Danns that he's had a horrific injury record as of late. I have not seen Morrison has made the bench quite a few times, but he has not even really sniffed.
Yeah, he's not really a striker anyway. So
yeah,
he's not a striker. Yeah. So,
and he's not a striker. I thought he was more of a winger than he was a striker.
Yeah. So he's not. But the problem is, even with Jayden Danns, is even if he's fit, he just wouldn't be getting the chance anyway.
He wouldn't.
I just can't trust. I just can't trust Slot using him. This is the thing. And he's going to come back and what? We're near the end, so we're not going to see him this season. Pre-season, he'll get a few games. He's going to send out loan, and again, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't know if he makes it at Liverpool. I think in the next year or two, he gets sold. But again, maybe if the manager changes, there maybe be a different aspect. But yeah, it's looking like he's been unlucky and it's looking not great.
My personal preference to see who I hope is the future.
Yes, Mr. I've been watching a bit, Mr. Figueroa. He's been quite decent. He's been quite good.
He's a good player.
The legend. Yeah, he's a good player. The legend. The other, what's his first name? The Wigan defender. I forgot his first name, but yeah.
Yeah, Maynor.
That's the one. Okay, 12. All right, I see you. Did your research.
Yeah,
Fedoras, Alpha Cup,
yeah,
you've had a few run-ins with him. I hear it. I hear it. I see
yeah.
you. I see you.
He's a
I
talent.
see you,
He's
dog.
great. He's a
But
he's a talent.
yeah, good player. Yeah, yeah, for Wigan. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I have bias. I openly admit my bias, by the way, since
Ah,
he does play for U.S. men's national team. So,
okay.
or not for the senior team. He plays for the under 21s. But yeah, but he's a talent. He's a talent.
He's a talent. And speaking of talents, can I make this introduction, please, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen? We have here the man from Germany, the man of the master plan, the number 10, the 10 in 10, the playmaker, the man who, right, unfortunately, he's going to go back to, if he puts his boots on, he'll be better than Subasai, the one and only from Stuttgart, Germany, my brother. We were at the parades and we were making, and let me tell you, me and this brother, we were making noise at the parade. My brother, my number 10, JK in the building.
Yeah. Look, bro, what an intro. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Nice one, bro. Thank you, bro. I have to do one for you one day now.
Don't worry about that, man. Oh, don't worry, man. Pick up JK.
Big up.
Bless you, boys.
Yeah, it's good to be like. We just need Lee to jump to complete the set, but that's fine. He's
I
still
know.
he's still with his new missus. You know what I mean? Apparently
Mm-hmm.
they had Foster's last night. So obviously it's Sheila. Apparently the new missus is Sheila. So when Lee comes in, just mention Sheila. That's all. Anyway, we digress.
No comment.
Sheila. Oh, Lord of mercy, man.
No comment.
Oh, hi, Red Armchair, Dara, Helio as well. Cool.
We were just talking about this gentleman right here, Leonardo. He's a Brazilian. He's possibly I guess, a Hail Mary as to getting something in return for Mohamed Salah rather than letting him leave on a. I just think that if you're going to, it's a major, and I think I've been very I can be critical on FSG for when they make mistakes. No, every ownership group makes mistakes, and that's something that we all have to live with. But I think it would be a huge mistake if you are able to see, Mohamed Salah leave for a free and then go to Saudi Arabia. It's one thing for him to leave on a free and go to PSG or Bayern Munich, heaven forbid, Real Madrid, or even Barcelona or something along those lines. But we all know that we know that he wants to play in Europe still. However, no team is going to spend the kind of money that we would expect or want for Mohamed Salah. It'd be very similar as to the settings we saw for Mane, I believe, when he went to Bayern Munich. We might get 20 some odd million for him.
Yeah. Considering his age and his wages, it's like, yeah, free. Because they will save the money on the wages the following season, That's how they're looking at it. It depends also how many years he's got left in him. I reckon he's got a good 4 years left in him. 3-4 years, no problem. To play football. Yeah. Fitness-wise, everything's sound. It's just all of a sudden everyone thinks he ain't good enough for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling. But yeah, it's a bit embarrassing how some fans are going on about it. For me, he's in the first top 11 of a Liverpool top best of 11. So I'm not asking you to say about the guy, but for me, I hope he does something more. Give us a couple of good games before he goes.
Yeah, give us something special to remember. That'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. I'll give you something fantastic to remember. Because before we wrap up the show, I guess like we always have a moment of Red Zen. I do have a special moment of Red Zen that I saw a photo that I disliked, but this is going to be Red Zen connected to something that we don't talk about too often on this show, and that is the LFC women's team. So let's take a breath because amidst all the chaos that we saw on our men's side, Liverpool Women in their FA Cup quarterfinal have gone on to the FA Cup semifinals. And I will say this, it was at the foot of a Scouser, by the way. Zara Shaw, after over a year out, came back and scored the winner. 115th minute, pressure, fatigue setting in, chaos, obviously. We love chaos in Liverpool. And she delivers. That is what this club is about. Resilience, obviously. Belief, something that has dissipated amongst us with our men's club. But these moments are special. And maybe, just maybe, that's what the men's team needs to rediscover. And I hope they do on Wednesday. But shout out to the ladies for doing what the gentlemen could not do, and that is reach the semifinals. We hope that you continue on with your good presence and good form and bring back some silverware for Liverpool on that side of the locker rooms. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that game. I was like happy for them because they're not being great in the league. They have been recently now. They got a new manager in and he was sound. And since then, they've sort of improved.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that's on your mind, guys? We've still got a few more minutes. We can go for a little bit longer.
Just any team news, like injury wise, anything? Have you heard?
I will have a preview show tomorrow, and I'll list all the players that are in training. I'll list on anyone that's like, obviously on the injury list or coming off the injury list, or they'll be present for us. There are some. I know that there are players. Wow. The one thing I can say is at least we got absolutely destroyed 4-0. I get it. Hold our heads in shame with that performance. But it is something to be able to say, at least Arsenal lost as well.
Right, that was nice. That was one good plus.
That was like one plus.
Come on.
Yeah, to lose not to like the team that's battling against you for the league title, to lose not even to possibly a team that's competing for the championship title. I think Southampton
fighting for the playoffs. Yeah,
16th or 6th or 7th place.
Yeah, but they've improved. They beat Coventry. They're the only team that really beat Coventry recently, to tell you the truth, and they've improved under this manager. So fair play. They're doing well. They've got Chelsea, I think. No, see, have they got Chelsea or City?
No, who does? Oh well, yeah, they mixed it. They set it up. I swear, sometimes they should just be like, it should have been Leeds versus Southampton. And it should have been Chelsea versus City. Yeah. They set it up so that it can most likely be a Chelsea-City FA Cup final.
Yeah. I think Leeds could upset Chelsea.
I think as well.
Yeah, I think as well. Yeah, I think Leeds have got the capacity to beat Chelsea.
Leeds is a good little outfit,
I agree.
Bro. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think Leeds. I picked that show. I said Leeds. I picked Leeds to make it to the semifinals actually in the last round. Some people thought I was weird to do so.
Not weird.
I was just going. No. I was going on hopium. That was all hopium. That's all.
Creative in it.
I'll get it right now. That was no crystal ball. That was just. I like Leeds. Leeds.
I did not really. Nah.
Just quickly, big up Jean Grey, Jean Grey, and hold on, Liverpool 12th man, JK Lee. Where's Lee? Where's Lee? G? Where's Lee? G? Where's Lee?
I hope you're doing well, Gene, and also Edward in the chat. Nice to see you.
Big up Edwards. Yeah, big up, man. Some names, good numbers, different names in here, but yeah.
They're gonna be missing apparently for their upcoming match against Sporting. Saka's gonna be out actually. So they've got some names that are gonna be
what about Gabriel?
No, he'll play. He'll start.
They can play.
Yeah.
Look, bro, in the last two games,
all good, Gene. Love Gene. Love you always.
In the last two games,
oh my goodness. Go ahead, JK. Go ahead.
In the last two games, people were talking about quadruple. I remember Trudon.
Oh gosh.
Like, he was worried about them guys getting a quadruple, and I was like, nah, bro.
I was like, do you know?
Look at that. All of a sudden, 2 games, bang, they're out of that 4, 2 are gone. So they've got 2 left now. Let's see how that ends up.
Yeah. That's funny. Quadruple. It's amazing. That's why sometimes when you hear the people talk about when you hear about some of these conversations for Arsenal about how fantastic Arteta is, stuff, I'm just like,
you know what? I've never seen
Arsenal team. Yeah,
I've never seen a team so hyped up and win nothing. You know, City, you get the hype, you get the trophies. You know, it's there. United in them days, the hype was there. They delivered. This Arsenal team, the hype in the last few years, because they've spent over 1 billion, the hype has been crazy, overdrive. I've never seen nothing like it. And what they've won, a couple of corners and a free kick.
Oh, you're right.
A corner shop, a couple of pack of Christmas and sweets.
This isn't.
That's a good one, JK.
But this is basically all Arsenal are good at is bottling stuff.
You know what it is? It's happened on the quiet as well. Like, you know, because we've been so terrible that we've been concentrating on that. Like, these boys in the background have been doing these messed up things. 2 games, 2 defeats, 2 cups out. Joe, mad.
But we can't celebrate yet because at the end of the day, there's still an intention to win the league and it's still in the Champions League. So we have to hold fire.
Yeah,
we need to hold fire. Right? Yeah, we need to hold fire.
Little shady giggle is all right.
Yeah. That's hold fire, man. Yeah, unfortunately.
They were celebrating when we got battered 4-0. Trust me, in that game. They were like, oh, sorted, Liverpool are out. Whatever. You can imagine a lot of their content creators were laughing at us. So, nice.
Yeah.
Are you, Nalante, are you looking forward to the PSG game?
Yeah, I'm just doing it for what it is. I don't know, man. I'm gonna sound deluded and crazy. I got a feeling we'll get a result. I don't know why. I just have a feeling these players will wake up and smell. I think you missed earlier, JK. Like in the midfield, we've got David. We ain't got Ryan Gravenberch. We've got Dave Gravy Bisto, and we've got Kevin McAllister. Yeah, Kevin McAllister. And we haven't got worse. We've got Flowers at the top of the diamond. So make that what you will, JK. I mean, if we have those Dave, Flowers, and Kevin in the midfield tomorrow, then it's going to be dark. It's going to be dark.
Look, our midfield has to turn up tomorrow. It's as simple as that. It's one of them games. Defensively, look, watch Konaté. First few minutes, first 3, 4, 5 minutes, watch Konaté closely. he will dictate to you the score of the game. So if he's sound and if he can find his feet and get on with it, very firm in his challenges and he's clearing the ball and he's passing straight, he ain't giving no balls away, then we're going to be all right. But what Konaté first, man, then it's just him. I always watch Konaté early on. But look, this is a Champions League quarter-final here. And that Man City result wasn't the sort of thing you want to do before you go into a quarter-final of a Champions League. Because that PSG team would probably have had croissants for breakfast and all watch the game together. So, oh, let's watch them. They're playing City. Top game. Let's watch that together as a team. What we're going to face, you know what I mean? They were probably fucking laughing. You know? That was pretty embarrassing for me. I've never felt like that in a game ever in my life, that City game. After that, the third goal went in, I was like, okay, 2-0. This Liverpool team and Liverpool in general can come back. That's what we do, you know? And after that third one went in, I was like, yo, what's going on here? This is not the good. This is the thing I didn't want. In that international break we had, I was like, I don't want this feeling of, well, we're going into this game already lost. We don't do that. We don't do that. And I've seen a lot of fans who have already said, well, we're getting hammered. We're Liverpool and we're saying that. And that's when you know something's not right. Come on. We're not all dumb here. All the content creators even, and even all the lads in the chats. 9 out of 10 would say the same thing about we should have made a change. This, that and the other. And we didn't make that change. Even Michael Jackson sang about it, and he was right, and they didn't make that change. You know what I mean? So, you gotta make a change sometimes. Come on. Gotta make that change. Gotta make that change. I love to play that at Anfield or at the training ground, AXA. Tomorrow when Arnie walks in, gotta make that change. Yeah, change gears then, bro. You've tried the first gear, second gear football. It's not working. You're not going to control a game for 98 minutes playing that first gear, second gear football. You only play that when you are 3-4 goals up and you're playing like Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's as simple as that, you know. He did it the wrong way around. He hasn't figured out in which speed and which part of the game to do that speed in. You know, he just thinks, okay, we're going to start off slow. And what happens, bro? You've seen it so many occasions. Teams take the lead.
I think
because we've introduced them into the game at Anfield. We've opened the doors, gave them a cup of tea, a couple of biscuits. I said, there you go, lads, have a go. We do it too many times with this guy. So this is important.
No, finish your thought. I keep
no, just worrying. It's just worrying that if we look, I keep on going to the Arsenal game and the Real Madrid game and this, that, and the other. But in them games, we've seen a team who were concentrated. Even the Galatasaray game at Anfield, it was the one game the whole season I thought, you know what? We're not letting a goal in today. You could have put £1 million on it. It's like, we're not letting a goal in today. And that was the first time I felt that this season properly. Like, you know what? We're not letting a goal in. Because of the energy of the players. From the off, it was like, bang. We can't lose to these guys in a Champions League game in front of these fans. Because we just dropped points to Tottenham. And that's the energy we need against PSG again, bro. That urgency that they showed against Galatasaray. We let them have one shot in the whole game. Come on. That was like, we played well that day. Konaté was at the races, Virgil, everyone's at the races as a team, as a unit, and got the job done. They're not doing it consistently. That's the problem. When you can do that consistently, bro, you're champions. You're going to win everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. I was just trying to say that I think that with this coach, unfortunately, I think that and this goes against a lot of not a lot, but there were people that were clamoring for a change from Klopp's system, the change from the heavy metal from the chaos, from the high intensity, which is a very difficult level of energy to be sustainable. However, we've gone from heavy metal to what do you Dutch rock, I guess it is, or something like that, or easy jazz, and something
pop music, bro.
Yeah, like smooth listening.
Lady Gaga, man.
Yeah, it's like it's a case where I've always thought of it as like you've taken out the identity that was firmly established as this team, something that you could always be relatable to as being connected to this club. Yet now, whether we liked it or not, we were being told that that Klopp system was crap, or it
I'll do it tomorrow
good,
before I go.
But
No.
Oh, do you want to say something?
Oh, sorry. No, continue. Sorry. I was speaking. Yeah, continue. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I mean, if you want to chime in, okay.
No, sorry. Sorry. No, I was just mom. So, what were you saying? Sorry, just continue.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just thought of it as like, here we are now, pretty much without an identity, being told excuse after excuse, as if our eyes are betraying us as to what the football looks like. And even if we are able to get to this level of what the coach wants, is that the kind of football that we want to represent Liverpool?
No.
And I think that's unfortunately a strong no for me. I much rather have the high energy, the exciting. I think there's a comment that Jurgen Klopp made, and he made the mention about wanting to, winning and losing is somewhat secondary to creating football that is enjoyable to watch, creating football that makes you as a participant in the stand say, I want to go back and watch that again. I'm excited to see the next time that group of players come, because I'm going to not only be entertained, but also I'm going to see something special. I think that aspect of football for us has been all but erased. And that's one of the hardest things to get through the brain here is figuring out how and what we can accept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Again, personnel has changed, obviously, but last season, what I'd like to know, some people say the football was boring. I didn't think it was boring. I've seen worse football like that, where he had a balance of control, but when to press and when to step it up. I did look back. I know certain players were on form, personnel kind of obviously has changed, but we can do that. We are these players are capable to do it. Galatasaray, we were all over them like a leash. Real Madrid. I know I'm trying to prove something positive, but there've been certain games this season where we've seen that these players are capable of them. And they're capable of doing that. It's just if they'll do that, And I know PSG, but what I will say about PSG, as good as they are, they're not perfect. They are throwing the ball. I remember the last game they had against Chelsea, and listen, Chelsea matched them for 70, 80 minutes. They went toe to toe with them. They had chances, PSG chances, and they attacked. But the thing is, they attacked, and it's only the last 10 minutes or so, PSG pulled away. So if we actually fix up an attack, we can get at PSG. But will we? That's the thing. And that's the players and the manager, what tactics he brings out. So
this is on our coach.
Yeah.
Just as much as we did, it's on the players as well to figure out and to say, you know what, I think it gets to the point where the players need to say, because the players know what it's like to have a fan base that normally is so supportive turn on you somewhat.
Mhm.
You know, Dom can shrug his shoulders as much as he wants as to why are you not clapping for us? You know, why aren't you not supporting us? And us saying, did you not see what you just gave us? Did you not see what you showed on that pitch? If you think that that was a resemblance of a team that didn't give up, unlike your skipper who said that you did, if you think that that's acceptable, then there's an issue. There's a bigger issue that needs to be resolved with you than it is with the fans. So, again, this week, shout out to Trudon, shout out to Peter, big up Jean Grey.
Best of Red Armchair. Good night, man.
Red Armchair supporters, Adam, Duffy, Edward, Dara. I'm trying to think of Highlore, obviously, Red Armchair supporter, the Cop Father. Any of those that were just chilling in the background as well. You know, look, I try to say there's very few spaces on the internet now, on YouTube or Twitch or X or any of those, all these different forums that we congregate. There's very few places that are safe places. I hope that that you recognize that this is one of those. Not all, we rarely, if ever, have the same opinions on these subjects. We sometimes don't even have the same solutions to those questions at hand, but we have a forum at least that we can congregate, we can speak on them, we can openly say what we want to say, even if we have that one crazy uncle that wants to kind of spout out little that those weird and like earmuff style statements. We still get through all these different things because we are a family, a Reds family. And I'm going to say that my moment of Red Zen that I wanted to include was just that, because like I saw this photo and it really brought back a better place. And this is them long after the, long after they had split. But I wanted to include this picture because you can see a difference. I know sometimes JK tells me that sometimes you can see when I'm going through some of my little bouts of dealing with my health. You can really see in this picture good energy. You can kind of feel the fact that they're in a good place, in a happy place. And why I'm bringing up this is because Salah and Klopp's relationship was like any strong family dynamic. It was built on trust, it was built on success, shared ambition. It had far more highs than it had lows. It delivered unforgettable moments. It obviously delivered us trophies and silverware that we could be proud of. But like any close partnership, there were tense moments, there were disagreements along the way. The key is that they always found a way through it, putting the team first, coming out stronger, just like families do. I'm hoping that we, as our larger collective of Reds family, can do the same and support each other and recognize these forums that do matter and should be championed, that should be strengthened by active support, by all factions of our fan base. And it matters because people like you make us strong. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate my panel, obviously. Shout out to Nalante holding it down. Shout out to JK as well. Let us know in the comments what we got right, what we got wrong. Shout out to Emtar Mizzy making a late appearance, but it's cool. John Wick style. Shout out to you. Look, subscribe if you haven't already. Pass on the moment. Pass on pass on the movement that we're trying to start. Because I enjoy being in forums where it's not an echo chamber, far from it, but we can have opinions and we can have enlightenment, we can have discussions without feeling like it is let's just take pot shots at our own family, which is what these players, what you and I are, what the club is in general. And I appreciate each and every one of you that we do what we do. So shout out to you guys. Please do, as always, remember, it's about the Reds and it's about us. So you guys want to say peace out? Nolante, you want to say peace out, or JK first? I'll let JK go first. JK,
yeah,
you want to say
peace people. Out? Have a good one. See you soon.
Nolante, you want to say peace out? Maybe so. I know Nolante was dealing with some stuff in the background. Oh, there you go. Nolante, you want to say peace?
Yeah, big up everyone, and hopefully Wednesday Anissa is gonna make that change.
There you go, Michael Jackson style. There you go. You know, these two guys right here, they made the change themselves. I remember when Mohamed Salah was angry. Klopp went to go give him a high five before he walked in, and Salah looked back at him like, I don't even know who you are. And what happened? They went out, they pieced it up, they kept it moving like all families do. Bless up to Bayesian Pops in the house.
Oh, bless up, Pops.
That's how we do. Up the Reds each and every time, people. Enjoy your Monday. Pops. And we will be back Tuesday with a preview for an all-important trip to Paris. And until then, just remember, we're Reds, mighty, mighty Reds. And we walk together always. Okay. Till then, keep it real. Up the Reds each and every time. Take care, guys.
Peace out.